Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today I'll be reviewing the S.H.Figuarts Super Android 17 from Dragon Ball GT. Now, it's kind of funny that we've gotten Super 17 and GT trunks before Sparking Zero has them. Kind of weird, but it is cool to have these as figures. I do expect we will get more GT S.H.Figuarts even after this, because we still don't have Gogeta, and I think it would make sense to have Baby Vegeta as well as Omega Shenron. So I think that we will be getting those at some point, as well as Super Saiyan accessories for GT Goku, whether or not that's a separate figure or it's like figurine DLC. I can see us getting those. I don't think this will be the only villain or antagonist that we'll get for GT, but it is very cool that we finally do have a nice looking figure for Super 17. And while he may have been short-lived, it is a very, very cool design. I'm not super familiar with GT because I only ever watched it once as a kid. I do intend to watch it again, but at this point I just haven't. But it is nice to have him. So taken out of the box, here's what 17 comes with, and it's a pretty good loadout. This is a P Bandai figure, and it is nice that it's a good looking figure. So we've got 4 faces, alternate hair pieces for sort of windswept hair effects, an alternate head and face for Goku, a Shenron clear acrylic sort of like standee for the Goku for like a Dragon Fist. We've got an effect part for Super 17, as well as a bunch of different paired hands. So it's a nice looking loadout. I am pretty happy with everything we get here, and it just is a very, very nicely done and nicely executed figure. Now, taken out of the box, here is 17, and he's looking really good. Now, I do know that I haven't put the extra hair parts like parted properly at his sides. I realized that partway through the video, so there's a good chunk of this video where his hair is fully behind him, where some of it's meant to be by his sides, so just ignore that. I do fix it later. But as it stands, Super 17 looks really, really good. I do like the tall, lanky design, and I do like the changes that Super 17 has over the base look of normal 17. Ultimately, I should have done a size comparison with both the Dragon Ball Super 17 from the Tournament of Power and the regular 17, but for some reason I didn't think of that, and I think it's because I had to do like 7 figure reviews in one block, and I was just scrambling for things. Regardless, this is a nice looking figure, and if I did have them next to him, he would stand a bit taller than the standard 17s, just because of this design, and it looks rather nice. All of the paintwork is good. It is minimal paintwork, but all of the golds and extra accents look really, really nice. Here he is next to the GT Goku, so you can see just how much taller he stands over one of the kid figures, and I do like this sort of scaling. Posability wise, we get a decent amount out of this figure, so ball joint at the head and neck. The scarf is a floating piece, and the little end tassels can rotate around. The sort of side tassels on the hair can rotate around. These are the parts that are meant to be out the front, and the back parts can hinge and rotate as well, which will become more important later. His arm can rotate all the way around, hinge out just fine, swivel at the upper arm, bend at the elbow, ball hinge at the wrist, and you can also take off the forearms to show the sort of cannon arms, and that works on both hands. They are a bit tight, so it is a bit tricky to get them out, but they are nicely painted and detailed as well, and easily plug back in, and the friction joint that holds them is really solid. His arms can butterfly inwards, and they do the sort of like Amazing Yamaguchi thing where it shifts part of the upper chest with it, and it's a really, really cool aesthetic. There is a ball joint in the upper chest, which allows for really, really good range of motion. There's a swivel at the waist, and his waist part is a little bit of a floating piece. He can do the splits that far, which is really nice. He can kick forward and back that far, double bend at the knee, as well as pivot and rotation at the ankle, bend at the toe, and it's the standard sort of posability that you get from an S.H.Figuarts, plus a little bit more, but the structure of the figure allows for a really, really good range of motion, and I really, really like how this is executed. All of the faces on Super 17 look really good. So he's got this sort of like mean scowl out of the box. He's got this teeth gritted angry / sort of slightly smirking face. Really depends on how the light hits it and how you pose it. He's got this mouth closed smirking face, which looks fantastic. as well as a mouth open shouting face. All of these faces look great individually, they look really awkward and long, but that's all an aesthetic thing. Once you put it on the head, it looks fine. The only thing that I don't like about this structure of the heads are the front bangs, because they are sort of soft plastic, and out of the box mine was sort of warped a little bit, so it is difficult to pose them just right. You do also get the alternate head and face for Goku. This is a very actiony windswept hair, even though he did already have a windswept hair. This is specifically for the Dragon Fist and works rather nice. You can swap out the faces, so this is fully compatible with all his other faces, so it is a nice touch as well. And once you set up the Dragon Fist accessory looks pretty good as well. It's nothing too crazy, but it gets the job done. And you can also swap out the back hair parts on 17 for a more actiony windswept hair look, and this works pretty well. I am worried about how fragile looking the plugs are, but if you're careful with it, it should be fine. And it does change the aesthetic of the figure overall just a little bit more, and I do like that. He also comes with an effect part, and this attaches in the same way as the Turles effect part, where you have hands with holes in them and you plug in a clear rod, and that rod then connects to the effect part. One is a straight one and one is at an angle, so you can create a more seamless look, which I really like. Just the way it's executed is nice. I just wish the effect part didn't have this very large seam down the middle, so it is sort of hard to get it looking front on without seeing the seam, which kind of sucks, but overall I don't mind it all that much. But other than that, I had a really good time with this figure. I had no real troubles at all posing him. Probably the only issue with the bangs, or that his left hand is a little bit loose for the ball joint connection, but that can be fixed pretty easily. And yeah, he's just a really nice expressive figure, really fun to play around with, and I really liked my time with it. Again, I do hope that they continue the GT line. I think there is more to explore here, but I think this is a very solid figure and a hard one to top if we are going to do new androids at some point, especially since the old androids being 1.0 figures are still really good. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I will see you all next time.